If only the Gap could talk. Tonight on Backroads, we get a history lesson in southeastern Kentucky. WYMT's Allison Rogers shows us how the Cumberland Gap paints a new picture of the Civil War.
Pinnacle Overlook is in the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, and it gives you a view from Kentucky from over 2,000 feet above. Now, that's not the only thing this park has to offer. There's also quite a bit of history, so let's go check it out.
Every national park adds a piece to the American story. Here at Cumberland Gap, we have a unique piece to this American story.
This is the first major gap in the mountains that made it possible for people on the eastern seaboard to flow into the western part of the country.
It is global in its significance because people coming from Europe, African slaves coming over, going through the Cumberland Gap, this is a global story.
The Gap played a strategic role in the American Civil War as it became one of the main defensive lines in the Western Confederacy.
The Confederacy wanted to protect Tennessee. So what they did, they had a defensive line that ran from Cumberland Gap, which was its easternmost flank, to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and then to Columbus, Kentucky. That huge Confederate line was called the most vital defensive line in the Confederacy.
The National Park Service is celebrating its centennial this year, and the purpose of the service is just as important now as it was 100 years ago.
Every national park you go to, you add to your knowledge about America and the United States, and that's what the National Park System was put in place for, was for the American people to enjoy, to learn.
When you step into the park, you're stepping back in time. You can visit fortifications, see cannons, and stand where soldiers once stood. It's an experience that could leave you in chills.
When you can stand here and look and see what they saw, it is a surreal experience, and that for me is one of the greatest things at Cumberland Gap. Where you can stand where your ancestor was. You can see cannons, artillery pieces that your ancestor may have fired.
I notice you have chills. Is that from talking about
Yes,
this?
I get worked up.
There you have it, Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, taking history and bringing it back to life right here in eastern Kentucky. For now, taking the back roads to Bell County, I'm Allison Rogers, WYMT Mountain News.
And you can see all of this season's Backroads segments on WYMT.com.